Chapter 14. Bedrosian man runs as fast as yoga pants. Don't judge, Piper warned as she reemerged from her room. I would not have dreamed of it. Piper McLean looked fashionably ready for combat in her bright white Converses, distressed skinny jeans, leather belt, and orange camp tee. Braided down one side of her hair was a bright blue feather, a harpy feather, if I wasn't mistaken. Strapped to her belt was a triangular bladed dagger like the kind Greek women used to wear, a parazonium. Hecuba, future queen of Troy, sported one back when we were dating. It was mostly ceremonial, as I recalled, but very sharp. Don't ask. Hanging from the other side of Piper's belt? I guess this was the reason she felt self-conscious. Holstered to her thigh was a miniature quiver stocked with foot-long projectiles, their fletching made from fluffy thistles. Slung across her shoulder along with the backpack was a 4-foot tube of river cane. A blowgun! I cried. Oh, I love blowguns! Not that I was an expert, mind you, but the blowgun was a missile weapon. Elegant, difficult to master, and very sneaky. How could I not love it? Meg scratched her neck. Are blowguns Greeky? Piper laughed. No, they're not Greeky, but they are Cherokee-y. My grandpa Tom made this one for me a long time ago. He was always trying to get me to practice. Grover's goatee twitched as if trying to free itself from his chin, Houdini style. Blowguns are really difficult to use. My Uncle Ferdinand had one. How good are you? Not the best, Piper admitted. Nowhere near as good as my cousin Taliqua. She's a tribal champion, but I've been practicing. Last time Jason and I were in the mates... She patted her quiver. Well, these came in handy. You'll see. Grover managed to contain his excitement. I understood his concern. In a novice's hands, a blowgun was more dangerous to allies than to enemies. And the dagger? Grover asked. Is that really... Catoptris, Piper said proudly. Belonged to Helen of Troy. I yelped. You have Helen of Troy's dagger? Where'd you find it? Piper shrugged. In a shed at camp? I felt like pulling out my hair. I remember the day Helen had received that dagger as a wedding present. Such a gorgeous blade, held by the most beautiful woman ever to walk the earth. No offense to the billions of other women out there who are also quite enchanting. I do love you all. And Piper had found this historically significant, well-crafted, powerful weapon in a shed? Alas, time makes a bric-a-brac of everything, no matter how important. I wondered if such a fate awaited me. In 1,000 years, somebody might find me in a tool shed and say, oh look, Apollo, god of poetry. Maybe I can polish him up and use him. Does the blade still show visions? I asked. You know about that, huh? Piper shook her head. The vision stopped last summer. That wouldn't have anything to do with you getting kicked out of Olympus, would it, Mr. God of Prophecy? Meg sniffed. Most things are his fault. Hey, I said. Moving right along. Piper, where exactly are you taking us? If all your cars have been repossessed, I'm afraid we're stuck with Coach Hedges' Pinto. Piper smirked. I think we can do better than that. Follow me. She led us to a driveway where Mr. McLean had resumed his duties as a dazed wanderer. He meandered around the drive, head bowed as if he were looking for a dropped coin. His hair stuck up in ragged rows where his fingers had raked through it. On the tailgate of a nearby truck, the movers were taking their lunch break, casually eating off china plates that had no doubt been in the McLean's kitchen not long before. Mr. McLean looked up at Piper. He seemed unconcerned by her knife and a blowgun. Going out? Just for a while. Piper kissed her father on the cheek. I'll be back tonight. Don't let them take the sleeping bags, okay? You and I can camp out on the terrace. It'll be fun. All right. He patted her arm absently. Good luck, studying? Yep, Piper said. Studying. You have to love the mist. You can stroll out of your house heavily armed, in the company of a satyr, a demigod, and a flabby former Olympian, and thanks to the mist perception-bending magic, your mortal father assumes you're going to a study group. That's right, Dad. We need to go over some math problems that involve the trajectory of blowgun darts and use them against moving targets. Piper led us across the street to the nearest neighbor's house. A Frankenstein's mansion of Tuscan tiles, modern windows, and Victorian gables that screamed, I have too much money and not enough taste. Help! In the wraparound driveway, a heavy-set man in athleisure wear was just getting out of his white Cadillac Escalade. Mr. Bedrosian! Piper called. The man jumped, facing Piper with a look of terror. Despite his workout shirt, his ill-advised yoga pants, and his flashy running shoes, he looked like he'd been more leisurely than athletic. He was neither sweaty nor out of breath. His thinning hair made a perfect brushstroke of black grease across his scalp. When he frowned, his features gravitated toward the center of his face as if circling the twin black holes of his nostrils. Piper, he stammered. What do you... I would love to borrow the Escalade. Thank you, Piper beamed. Actually, this isn't a problem, Piper supplied. And you'd be delighted to lend it to me for the day. Oh, fantastic! Bedrossian's face convulsed. He forced out the words, yes, of course. Keys, please? Mr. Bedrossian tossed her the fob, then ran to his house as fast as tight-fitting yoga pants would allow. Meg whistled under her breath. That was cool. What was that? Grover asked. That, I said, was charm speaking. I reappraised Piper McLean, not sure if I should be impressed or if I should run after Mr. Bedrossian in a panic. A rare gift among Aphrodite's children. Do you borrow Mr. Bedrossian's car a lot? Piper shrugged. He's been an awful neighbor. He also has a dozen other cars. Believe me, we're not causing him any hardship. Besides, I usually bring back what I borrow. Usually. Shall we go? Apollo, you can drive. But... She smiled that sweet, scary, I-could-make-you-do-it smile. I'll drive, I said. We took the scenic coastal road south in the Bedrossian mobile. Since the Escalade was only slightly smaller than Hephaestus's fire-breathing Hydra tank, I had to be careful to avoid side-sweeping motorcycles, mailboxes, and small children on tricycles, and other annoying obstacles. Are we going to pick up Jason? I asked. Next to me in the passenger seat, Piper loaded a dart into her blowgun. No need. Besides, he's in school. Well, you're not. I'm moving, remember? As of next Monday, I'm enrolled at Tahlequah High. She raised her blowgun like a champagne glass. Go Tigers. Her words sounded strangely unironic. Again, I wondered if she could be so resigned to her fate, so ready to let Caligula expel her and her father from the life they'd built here. But since she had a loaded weapon in her hand, I didn't challenge her. Meg's head popped up between our seats. We won't need your ex-boyfriend? I swerved and almost ran over someone's grandmother. Meg! I chided. Sit back and buckle up, please. Grover! I glanced in the rearview mirror and saw the satyr chewing on a strip of gray fabric. Grover, stop eating your seatbelt. You're setting a bad example. He spat out the strap. Sorry. Piper ruffled Meg's hair, then playfully pushed her into the back seat. To answer your question, no. We'll be fine without Jason. I can show you the way into the maze. It was my dream, after all. This entrance is the one the Emperor uses, so it should be the straightest shot to the center, where he's keeping your Sybil. And when you went inside before, I said. What happened? Piper shrugged. The usual labyrinth stuff, traps, changing corridors, also some strange creatures, guards, hard to describe, and fire, lots of it. I remembered my vision of Hierophile, raising her chained arms in the room of lava, apologizing to someone who wasn't me. You didn't actually find the Oracle? I asked. Piper was silent for half a block, gazing at flashes of ocean vista between houses. I didn't, but there was a short time when we got separated. Jason and me. Now, I'm wondering if he told me everything that happened to him. I'm pretty sure he didn't. Grover refastened his mangled seatbelt. Well, why would he lie? That, Piper said, is a very good question, and a good reason to go back there without him, to see for myself. I had a sense that Piper was holding back quite a bit of herself. Doubts, guesses, personal feelings, maybe what had happened to her in the labyrinth. Hooray, I thought. Nothing spices up a dangerous quest like personal drama between formerly romantically involved heroes who may or may not be telling each other and me the whole truth. Anyways, Piper directed me to downtown Los Angeles. I considered this a bad sign. Downtown Los Angeles had always struck me as an oxymoron, like hot ice cream or military intelligence. Yes, Aries, that was an insult. Los Angeles was about sprawl and suburbs. It wasn't meant to have a downtown, any more than pizza was meant to have mango chunks. Oh, sure, here and there among the dull gray government buildings and closed-up storefronts, parts of downtown had been revitalized. As we zigzagged through the surface streets, I spotted plenty of new condos, hip stores, and swanky hotels. But to me, all those efforts seemed about as effective as putting a makeup on a Roman legionnaire, and believe me, I'd tried. We pulled over near Grand Park, which was neither grand nor much of a park. Across the street rose an 8-story honeycomb of concrete and glass. I seem to recall going there once, decades before, to register my divorce from Greta Garbo. Or was it Liz Taylor? I couldn't recall. The Hall of Records? I asked. Yeah, Piper said. But we're not going inside. Just park in the 15-minute loading zone over there. Grover leaned forward. What if we're not back in 15 minutes? Piper smiled. Then I'm sure the towing company will take good care of Mr. Bedrossian's Escalade. Once on foot, we followed Piper to the side of the government complex, where she put her finger to her lips for quiet, then motioned for us to peek around the corner. Running the length of the block was a 20-foot-high concrete wall, punctuated by unremarkable metal doors that I assumed were service entrances. In front of one of these doors, about halfway down the block, stood a strange-looking guard. Despite the warm day, he wore a black suit and tie. He was squat and burly with unusually large hands. Wrapped around his head was something I couldn't quite figure out, like an extra-large Arabic keffiyeh made of white fuzzy terry cloth, which draped across his shoulders and hung halfway down his back. That alone might not have been so strange. He could have been a private security guard working for some Saudi oil tycoon. But why was he standing in an alley next to a nondescript metal door? And why was his face entirely covered in white fur? Fur that exactly matched his headdress. Grover sniffed the air, then pulled us back around the corner. "That guy isn't human," he whispered. "I'll give the satyr a prize," Piper whispered back. But I wasn't sure why we were being so quiet. We were half a block away, and there was plenty of street noise. "What is he?" Meg asked. Piper checked the dart in her blowgun. "It's a good question, but they can be real trouble if you don't take them by surprise." "They?" I asked. Yeah, Piper frowned. "Last time there were two, and they had black fur. I'm not sure how this one's different, but that door is the entrance to the maze, so we need to take him out." "Should I use my swords?" Meg asked. "Only if I miss." Piper took a few deep breaths. "Ready?" I didn't imagine she would accept no as an answer, so I nodded along with Grover and Meg. Piper stepped out, raised her blowgun, and fired. It was a 50-foot shot at the edge of what I consider practical blowgun range, but Piper hit her target. The dart pierced the man's left trouser leg. The guard looked down at the strange new accoutrement protruding from his thigh. The shaft's fletching matched his white fur perfectly. How great, I thought. We just made him angry. Meg summoned her golden swords. Grover fumbled for his reed pipes. I prepared to run away screaming. "Wait," Piper said. The guard listed sideways, as if the whole city were tilting to starboard, then passed out cold on the sidewalk. I raised my eyes. "Poison?" "Grandpa Tom's special recipe," Piper said. "Now come on. I'll show you what's really weird about Fuzzface."